Freaknik doc real quick. That one kind of toes the line. I don't know where that one falls.
I just think it's really funny. So Hulu announced that they're doing the Freaknik doc.
Mm-hmm.
They've been contracted. They reached an agreement with the people from Freaknik, and there will be a Freaknik doc coming next year or 2025, some shit like that.
I had no idea that it was
the
so far away.
The internet has been losing their motherfucking minds. Yeah. It is so interesting to see how people are panicking. And man, it is such a trend. I recently saw an Instagram reel where somebody made a rap song about the panic that people have about the doc.
Yeah.
Listen, people were behaving badly on camera.
Right.
And so now it's coming to light. And so, yeah, it's been 20, 30 years. And some people's moms and aunts and grandmas were on tape doing some egregious things. I say, who cares?
That's how I feel.
Those nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, and grandkids are on OnlyFans.
Not only that.
Doing worse things on camera. If we're talking about level of freak,
not
quote
only
unquote.
That, Freaknik was the Black Spring Break, like the premier Black Spring Break event, right? The reason why I guess this kind of gets to me is MTV was documenting white people's spring break for years, and they were doing some pretty crazy things.
Yeah, but
now I'm not saying that it's the same, and I'm not saying that they should be compared, because I'll get to why Freaknik documenting Freaknik on Hulu is problematic in a second. But just at a glance, why does this happen where Black people had their time and now we're going to get some documentation of them having their time, and everybody is up in arms and scared of what people will think of them. But when white people go and show their asses, nobody says anything.
Because Black people thought they were doing it in secret.
I guess so.
This is more. I think this is more comparable with Girls Gone Wild.
Sure, I think spring break, the spring breaks that used to be documented on television, was very much on par with Girls Gone Wild.
I guess. Listen, my thing is, Hulu is not HBO or Netflix. This is not going to be the nitty gritty. They're not going to show the stuff that everyone's really worried about anyway.
Well, we don't know what they're going to show.
I don't think.
And
have you ever seen a Hulu doc where they was really giving it up?
I mean, it depends on what I don't think I've watched a Hulu doc about something specific like this. And the reason I say that we don't know how it's gonna look is because one of the things that I said we will get to is that there is. It's not just that people were drinking and having a good time and wearing no clothes and whatnot and partying and making out with whoever and having sex with whoever or whatever.
That was a lot of whatevers.
Everybody who has talked about either going to Freaknik or having experienced it in some way talks about rape culture and how it's connected to Freaknik. And that's what I think. And a lot of people were even coming out and saying, everybody was talking about how the aunties need to be worried, but what about the uncles? Because some of them uncles were the ones doing the things, grabbing women they shouldn't have been grabbing, right, raping women they shouldn't have been raping. Like, I wonder if the Freaknik doc is going in that direction rather than it coming out as like a Hulu Black Girls Gone Wild type of situation. It's a documentary, and so it could go in a lot of different directions. They could highlight a lot of different things. I don't know what the plan is. I honestly haven't read up much on it, but like you said, the internet went crazy. So everything I see is like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried. Like, saw a video of a woman talking about like she stitched herself. First of all,
I saw that.
Why are you telling on yourself?
The lady with the blonde hair, right?
Yes. she stitched herself in her little Freaknik outfit, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I hope they don't. I hope I'm not in it." And it's like, I get it. I totally understand. I've gone on spring break. I've also just partied. I think anybody who's partied or been in the clubs or whatever when they were younger, or even now, I guess, probably has done things that they wouldn't necessarily have wanted documented.
Yeah.
And then to land on streaming platform like Hulu.
Right.
I totally understand that, and I totally respect that. But I do also see the point of there's some dudes out there who probably should be a lot more worried than the women who are worried about being dressed scantily clad and like drinking and drunk in public and what. Because, that's having a good time. And we could chalk that up to having a good time. But if they're going to get into the seriousness of what Freaknik was.
I don't think Hulu's going to give us the nitty gritty. Hulu's docs are not as in-depth and dark and gritty as like HBO Max does or Netflix does.
And who's this? Do we know who's working with Hulu on that?
No, that's what I'm saying. So I don't think this is... I think people are worrying because they have a guilty conscience.
Of course.
And so they're like, oh no, but I had my titties out and I can't... now my kids and my grandkids and my nieces and nephews, they're gonna...
Right.
And so that's the worry. Like that video, didn't she say she had 2 kids and she didn't want them to find out?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. That's the worry. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Not at the level that the internet is speaking about it.
I love that. I don't know what the Decider is, but the Decider.com said we can guess that the Freaknik documentary will come out in 2024, possibly even in mid-April 2024. I think it's hilarious that people are speculating about this, when it's going to be released.
Because the internet is up in arms. They're panicking. Really, they're not up in arms. They're panicking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I've always heard. I remember hearing about Freaknik when I was younger.
They tried to bring it back a couple years ago.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But it didn't go well.
No, and it wouldn't have. Not a couple years ago.
Right.
Oh, it did return.
Freak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying not successfully.
Yeah, and it apparently was supposed to be family friendly when it returned.
Oh, sure. A family-friendly Freaknik. That's a mouthful right there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so, I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. I was just looking to see who else is connected to it. Mm-hmm. Can't figure that out, but I'm curious about it. Not so curious that I can't wait until next year or the year after or whenever they release it. And you know what? I wonder, will we ever see it?
The doc?
Yeah.
No, the doc is coming.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
I feel like after all of this.
No, that's more reason to put it out.
Yeah, that's also more reason to reframe the story. So I'm just curious how. I really want to see how they talk about it. That would be and is it just going to be like Hulu loves to do these docs where it's like these short little 50-minute docs that they like to do. They team up with ABC News and they do these snapshots of things. If it's gonna be like that, then I don't really care for that.
But that's what I'm saying. Now,
give me a 6-part series or something where it's like 40 minutes a piece and we really get into the things.
Right. Now,
and show me the good stuff, but also show me the bad stuff.
I was about to say, now, if HBO was doing it, it would be like The Vow.
Oh, The Vow was beautifully done.
And then you would get all the nooks and crannies.
What a terrible group of people, but The Vow was beautifully done.
And that's what I'm saying. If HBO did it, or even Netflix got a couple of docs that's like, oh wow, this is what was going on.
Yeah, but I feel like Netflix docs are too long.
All right, well.
Netflix be like, you know what?
I'm not speaking about the length. I'm talking about the quality of the doc.
I know. I'm just saying. Netflix was like, Tiger King, let's do 2 seasons of that.
Well, There's a lot going on with Tiger King and all of those folks.
I don't think I watched season 2, but I did watch season 1 of Tiger King way after the phenomenon. Like, I watched it a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, I see why people were fascinated by this. I also watched, so here's what I did. I don't know how I got here, but what I did was Peacock
has a show
about the people, the actual people, right? Yeah. They created a drama, and I love a good drama, so I watched the show first, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is based on a true story. This is actually really fascinating. They need to bring it back. I know it was a limited series, but I would love to see a season 2 of that. Anyway, then I was like, I gotta go watch Tiger King now, don't I? Because now I gotta see the real guy. And I watched it, but I just felt it was entirely too long and did not need to go on as long as it did. Like, you could have totally told me what was going on in a lot less episodes, and definitely not a season 2. The drama deserves a season 2.
But there were new developments.
That's fine. Then give me, like, you know how when they do some of the shows that Netflix does, they'll do like 6 months later, this is what they're doing, and they give you an hour and they just update you. Yeah, they could have done that and it would have been fine. You know, so good luck to everybody on their future endeavors when it comes to Freaknik.
I concur. Good luck, y'all.
All right.